Hello, welcome to Arcsere Unified Data Protection Sizing Scaling Best Practice Review. My name is Gary Sussman, Principal Consultant here at Arcsere. Today's course will go over the Arcsere Unified Data Protection Recovery Point Server Sizing, talk about some resources, some tools that we have to help you, guide you. Also, talk about migrating and how to maintain the environment. Arcsere Unified Data Protection, the RPS or Recovery Point Server, is our destination for our backups. This is where we keep our recovery points. So we must size this server correctly, whether it's your own hardware or one of our appliances. We're going to talk about some tools that we can utilize to help size the environment for now and in the future. Not all data is the same, so some data can be compressed, some data can't be deduped, whatever the case may be. So we'll talk about some of these tools to help you along the way. The first tool that we'll discuss is our deduplication assessment tool. This tool helps you understand whether the data not that we're about to provide backup is compressible, is deduplicable. So it allows you to calculate, for future growth. It allows you to scan the actual environment. So this is actually a probe that you run and scans the volumes to calculate the actual dedupe and compression values. This tool or utility is located where we install our agents. You can find these tools at Programs, Files, Arcsere Unified Data Protection, Bin, Tools, RPS Planning. Again, Program Files, Arcsere Unified Data Protection, Engine, Bin, Tools, RPS Planning. You'll find then our Arcsere deduplication application. Once run, it allows you to scan your environment. You can add nodes that you're looking to protect. So make sure they have enough resource for the server running this tool. For more information, we have a resource guide to help you understand capacity requirements. Once you have enough resources and ready to scan, you can select the machine and what volumes to protect the scan. Scanning does take a while, depending on your resources as well. I would not run this during the day, during production hours, if this is a production server. So run this after hours, during the weekends. Again, run this during times off hours, please. Once the scan completes, you're now ready for the second phase. This tool then allows you to create reports. You can select multiple systems after the scan for one report, or as you can see, you can do it individually based on individual machines. It's totally up to you. You also find you can leverage SSD to, again, reduce memory requirements for creating a report. You can give the report a title. Automatically, it just goes on what date you have. Once you have the report scanned, completed, it will then spit out a lot of great details under the third tab, View Reports. This View Report tab provides a lot of great details, again, for our scanned environment. Not only provides capacity, but you can ascertain future growth by inputting number of recovery points that you're wishing to keep. And with the other information that we just provided, like dedupe size that you're willing to keep, block size, compression if you're willing to enable, also the change rate that you have. You can see a lot of great estimate memory requirements and also capacity requirements down below. Most importantly, you can see how much dedupe is possible with this environment. This is a lot of great information. You can then use this information with our other tools that we will provide for assessment. So this is our estimate hardware requirements report. Next, is our scan volume report. Basically, with that information, we now have an accurate view to the environment. Both, again, chart different chart types are available. The one we're looking at is specifically for disk and memory usage. You can then account for how much is needed. Uh, Again, depending on which block size you anticipate using with our product, or whether or not you use SSD. As you can see, with SSD enabled, uh, the memory resources drop significantly. Finally, we have our scan volume. This is another volume report, by the way, but this is on more disk and memory trends. But the final report is the scan volume, which just summarizes what we've just done. So, with this tool provides a lot of great detail to what we're looking to invest and protect. With that information, we now can utilize our second tool. This is our online tool. You can find this at our support website. This is a UDP resource estimator tool, storage, similar, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it provides you a way to provide some imports and ascertain what you need from storage perspective. Also, it will spit out what you need also if you need an appliance recommendation. First thing we need to know is how much data you're protecting. This is in gigabits. So input here we have 50 terabytes. Number of servers is next. Growth rate. So in a year from now, what do you anticipate uh, you'll be increased from the 50 that we originally started with? Or if you had a backup, what is it compared to today, a year ago? Whatever that value is goes here. Change rate. So if your first full is 50 terabytes, what do you anticipate your incrementals to be? How much change is there from the original full? Finally, number of recovery points. This is the average of retention for the data you're protecting. This is the sum of number of dailies, weeklies, monthlies. So if we have 10 dailies that we want to keep, remember this is synthetic full, so 10 dailies, 10 weeklies, 10 monthlies, then sum is 30, it goes here. By default, 4K block size, we can go to 8, 16, and 32. Typically, we leave it the smallest so we can get the smallest amount of storage possible. Finally, this information you can gather from the tool that we just scanned for, or on average, 60/30 is a good rule. With all this input information, we can understand both our own hardware or a recommendation with the Arcsere Unified Data Protection 8000 series appliance. For example, the 8400 with the 50 terabytes is a perfect solution for this example. If you're building your own hardware, you could see a single server with no SSD will require 672 gigs of memory. Alternatively, if we add SSD, to be exact, 652 gigs of SSD on the server, will reduce the amount of memory from 672 down to 52. So again, offloading hash on SSD drive makes a world of sense to reduce the amount of memory. It's really that drastic. Alternatively, you can also account for the console. So, in addition to the 52, another 8 for the console if this server is also running the RPS and the console together. If they're going to be cataloging replication, another 5. If you're going to be virtual standbying recovery points to a host, this conversion process takes resources, additional 4. Finally, if this server is going to act as a proxy for any of our agentless method of backups for virtual, for UNC path, for any online SharePoint or Office 365. So, account for resources is what this tool is designed for and to anticipate for future growth. Keep in mind, one thing that this does not account for is any resources needed for virtual standby. So, if this machine also needed additional resources to stand up, compute, then you need additional resources for our VMs that are required, depending on the resources, the application for the standing up of the VMs. Lastly, the last resource we have is built into the product. This is a tool that you can find within the solution. When you create a data store, at the top, you can click on this estimate resource requirements tab. It will drop down and allow you to put, again, similar inputs as we talked about before. So, again, you can discern what you need for the product. So, these are the three solutions we have, tools that you can utilize to anticipate growth, give a certain idea of what kind of resources we need, and also to configure our appliances. Next, we'll talk about how to migrate. We have a tool called the Jumpstart. This is a recovery point server tool. You can find this tool under Actions. The basis of this tool is to help with migrating recovery points. Keep in mind that any migration of data, disk change, any settings changes, your first backup to a new recovery point, it will be a full backup. This is designed within the product. This first backup is a full because of this change that you see listed here. This is for verification reasons. Keep in mind, even though it's a full backup, most likely it'll be 999% reduced anyway. So we're just doing a verification during this process. So don't worry with the report. It's a full backup. Again, it's going to be deduped drastically. There are many different reasons why we would want to migrate using the Jumpstart process. If the data store is at full capacity, you can use Jumpstart to aid in migrating to a new, larger data store. We can help you alert when the data store is to full capacity. So just keep that in mind. Secondly, if you have to change the dedupe block size, maybe you adding a copy to tape. So for faster tape, we go to a larger block size. Or we're just using disk and we want to go to conserve disk, so we want to go to a smaller block size. Whatever the case may be, this is another reason why you may want to use Jumpstart to migrate between different sized data stores. Third, when we do offline synchronization with replication, if you're replicating the data between recovery point servers, that initial send full may take some time depending on your bandwidth. For environments with low bandwidth, you can see the data offline using Jumpstart to your offline disk. You can then ship that disk via courier. That's a much faster process in certain environments. The idea is we perform the seed offline. When we turn it on, the synchronization occurs and we'll see most of the data is there. And so we can quicken the process. Finally, if you have to migrate any new hardware, as you know, hardware changes quite drastically. 12 gig SAS, who knows what's next. So you may need to create new recovery point servers, new data stores, and so the Jumpstart solution or utility can be used as well. So under Actions, you can click on the Jumpstart tool. The Jumpstart tool allows you two options to migrate recovery points from an old data store or to a new or temporary data store. For example, when we do offline synchronization, that will eventually remove. You can also import with the Jumpstart using data from like a shared folder. So if you just happen to maybe in a future, I'm sorry, previous installation didn't utilize a recovery point server, maybe you utilize a UNC path or you migrate data to a share. You can then import those recovery points using this second process. Once you specify whatever process, you can then identify the source recovery point server. You then will be able to select what data store that you want to originate from. So if you have multiple data stores, you can choose which one is the source. You can also filter, which will allow you to specifically find what information depending on the resource. Finally, a list of recovery points will appear for you to select what to then migrate with the solution. So once again, the migration process starts out with the Jumpstart tool. It'll allow you to migrate your recovery points from a source destination to a secondary. Once you have the data, we also have an import data store feature as well that you can utilize. This tool is also helpful when you're migrating data from recovery points or data stores to data store. This import data store allows you to identify a data store folder, whether it be on a network or direct attach. It will allow you the resource to acknowledge those resources. You can then provide your password and identify which recovery points then you can then import. So, for example, after I've created my offline volume, I can then ship it across. At now my DR site, I can use this feature to then import that disk information onto a data store now at my DR site. I can then flip the switch on the replication now that the data is there and less traffic, less WAN. This is how we optimize the replication offline. Keep in mind when the hash of a dedupe data store is missing or corrupt, you can still import the data store, uh, provide that you have everything else. Of course, we can rebuild the data store. I'm sorry, the hash to be exact. If you want to rerun the backup job, so just keep that in mind. So that's the import feature. With that and the Jumpstart Easy will help you when you have to migrate uh, data. Lastly is maintenance. As always, Murphy's Law, things always will break down eventually. Definitely in our world with hardware, again, things gets replaced all the time. We recommend that you continually do your maintenance on your hardware external to this product. So if you have RAID, make sure you utilize your tool, do your scanning, do your fragmentation, all the normal maintenance you do outside this product. Make sure you keep up with within this product. Of course, utilize a should recovery to help you maintain verification. A should recovery is our solution to do our instant virtual machine or instant disk to verify the disk and resources. We also have a command line tool for our deduplication store. This is an important maintenance tool you should also use regularly, I would recommend, especially environments with RAID, storage hardware. Definitely, this tool is utilized scheduled maintenance as you do your other Windows or other vendor tools. This tool you should also add to verify the integrity of recovery points and also the data store levels of the deduplication. It's also a great tool to help you reclaim disk and storage and purge obsolete data as well. So data does creep up. So this is a great tool to reduce that. As always, this is a great tool you should utilize whenever you can. This tool is located in our bin folder in the UDP installation path. It will provide outputs for you now, logs. So again, utilize this tool to query, maintain, manage, purge, and reclaim our disk data stores. There are different six syntax for this tool. Once you run the tool, depending on what you want to do, just follow the syntax. We have documentation available on our support site for more information. I would refer to our Arcsere Unified Data Protection guide. One thing I would have to lastly say about this tool, these syntax in particular take a long time to run because these have to scan, again, each block of data. The smaller blocks, the longer the process will take. So keep that in mind. Any verification, verifying the data, hash rebuild specifically will take days, depending on, of course, the size of your environment. For further assistance with this tool, I definitely recommend you reach out to pre-sales consultant, open up a ticket, have an engineer assist you, so that you know what you're going with this product and this tool. Finally, there's other diagnostics tools to help you collect logs to help in the process of troubleshooting. We have this tool to allow you to collect logs from the machines. This tool is pertinent for our support teams that we need to collect when there's any issue. So these will help to investigate these logs and get to the problem and diagnostically help identify if there's any errors, fixes, registry problems, you name it. Support teams are here to help. And so this tool is designed to help collect these diagnostics tools, logs, information. You can collect diagnostic data with this tool from all machines that we support, Windows, Linux, including VMware Hyper-V. Typically, once you download these tools, you zip in the zip file and you send it via FTP to our support team. Once we create a ticket, support tab will easily provide you all the further details on how to access our FTP site. Once the information is uploaded, we then work with you to resolve the issue. So, in conclusion, we have lots of tools to help you size, plan for future growth with the Recovery Point server, whether it's our software, whether it's our appliance. We have also tools to help you migrate recovery points. Our Jumpstart and our import tool feature allows you to easily help you migrate in different scenarios. Most popular, offline synchronization, to name one. And finally, we have different tools to help you manage, to help you rebuild hash, to help you resolve obsolete data. The tool for the dedupe allows you to, be proactive with your scheduled maintenance, which you also do with other things in your environment. So thank you for your time today. My name is Gary Sussman. Again, Arcsere provides one simple solution. Everything we discussed today is included at no cost, so you'll be able to, scale accordingly. Thank you. Have a good day.